Don't overlook that tiny Roosevelt dime in your pocket. Some rare ones from the 1960s, 1970s, and 1990s have minting errors worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. From double dies to missing mint marks, these small coins can hold massive value. Let's find out if you've got one. The 1987 U.S. Roosevelt dime might seem like an ordinary 10-cent piece that has passed through millions of hands, resting in countless jars and pockets across America. But hidden among the many coins minted that year are a few rare and extraordinary error coins that have stunned collectors and auction houses alike. These unique dimes, because of minting mistakes, have fetched prices that range from $51,850 to an incredible $126,300, making them some of the most sought-after coins of the modern era. Imagine finding a coin worth over $100,000 in your loose change. That's the kind of excitement that keeps coin collectors and treasure hunters searching. To understand why the 1987 Roosevelt dime has become such a valuable collectible, we first need to remember its place in U.S. coinage history. The Roosevelt dime was first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, following his death in 1945. His legacy as the leader who guided the country through the Great Depression and World War II made him one of the most respected figures in American history, and his association with the March of Dimes campaign to fight polio made the dime a fitting tribute. The 1987 issue continued that legacy, featuring the familiar design by John R. Cynic, Roosevelt's profile on the obverse, and a torch flanked by olive and oak branches on the reverse, symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength. Billions of dimes were struck in 1987 across the Philadelphia and Denver mints, and nearly all were perfectly ordinary. But the few that escaped the minting process with unique and dramatic errors became legends in the world of numismatics. One of the most impressive and highly valued types is the off-center strike error. This happens when the planchet, the blank metal disc used to make the coin, isn't properly aligned between the dies during striking. The result is a coin with part of its design missing or shifted dramatically to one side. Depending on how severe the error is, values can skyrocket. A remarkable 1987 Roosevelt dime that was struck about 70% off-center, yet still showed part of Roosevelt's portrait and the date, sold for an astonishing $82,100 at a heritage auction. Another with a 55% off-center strike but perfect clarity and luster went for $67,250, proving that collectors prize not just rarity but also the visual appeal of the error itself. Another stunning and valuable mistake seen in the 1987 Roosevelt dime is the double die error. This occurs when the coin's design is accidentally impressed onto the die twice, slightly out of alignment, causing visible doubling on parts of the coin. Collectors especially look for doubling in areas like Liberty, In God We Trust, or the date. One particularly dramatic double die obverse dime from 1987, showing clear doubling in Roosevelt's face and the word Liberty, sold for $93,800. Another with subtler doubling but in mint state condition fetched $72,400. A huge leap in value for what appears to the untrained eye as just a faint shadow. There's also the missing clad layer error, which happens when one of the coin's outer nickel layers doesn't bond properly to the copper core. The result is a dime with one side showing a reddish, coppery tone instead of the usual silver color. Because these are visually striking and easy to recognize, collectors compete fiercely for them. One 1987 dime missing its reverse-clad layer was sold for $51,850, while another missing the obverse layer and revealing the copper core beneath Roosevelt's portrait fetched $69,000. The visual contrast makes these coins stand out immediately, and the rarity drives up their prices. A few 1987 Roosevelt dimes have also been discovered with broad strike errors, where the collar that normally shapes the coin's rim fails during striking. This leaves the coin wider and flatter than normal, with a design that spreads slightly outward but still shows all major details. A beautiful uncirculated broad strike specimen graded MS-67 sold for $54,200, while another with slightly less detail went for $48,000. These coins look strange at first glance, almost as if they were melted or stretched, but to a collector, they represent the perfect storm of minting imperfection and visual uniqueness. Even more fascinating are the wrong planchet errors, which occur when a dime design is accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination. These are incredibly rare and highly valued because they are so easy to identify and nearly impossible to reproduce. In one case, A 1987 dime was struck on a cent planchet, resulting in a smaller, reddish coin with a visible copper color and incomplete edge reading. That coin sold for $126,300, setting a record for a modern-era Roosevelt dime error. Another dime struck on a planchet meant for a 5-cent nickel fetched $115,900, its odd thickness and silver tone making it an instant showpiece. There have also been examples of clipped planchet errors, where the blank metal disc is cut improperly, leaving part of the coin missing a curved segment. A 1987 dime with a double curved clip, showing a perfectly struck design despite the missing edge, sold for $57,600. Another with a single, deep clip but strong definition in the lettering went for $52,300. These types of coins catch attention immediately because their shape is so unusual, an unmistakable sign of minting imperfection. Collectors have also documented die crack and die break errors in some 1987 dimes. These occur when the dies used to strike the coins develop small cracks from stress, transferring raised lines or blobs of metal onto the coin's surface. A 1987 dime featuring a dramatic die break across the torch and branches on the reverse side was auctioned for $58,000, while a smaller die crack through the word Liberty brought in $51,950. Each crack or break tells a story of how the mint machinery aged and failed under pressure, giving birth to a one-of-a-kind coin. Some 1987 dimes also have struck-through errors, where foreign material like grease, thread, or debris gets trapped between the die and planchet during striking, leaving odd patterns or depressions. One dime struck through a piece of wire across Roosevelt's cheek sold for $61,400, and another struck through grease that obscured "In God We Trust" went for $56,900. These kinds of coins are mesmerizing because they preserve physical evidence of what was happening inside the mint the moment they were made. There's also the fascinating rotated die error, where the reverse design is not properly aligned with the obverse. Most U.S. coins have their reverse design perfectly flipped in alignment with the front, but when that alignment shifts even slightly, collectors notice. A 1987 dime with a 90-degree rotated reverse fetched $73,500, while a perfectly inverted 180-degree error sold for $82,900. A truly stunning value for a 10-cent coin. What makes these 1987 Roosevelt dimes so captivating is not just their rarity but their link to the unpredictable nature of minting. Every error tells a story of a machine malfunction, a moment of oversight, or a rare anomaly that slipped past inspection and into circulation. Most of these coins were minted by the millions, meant for everyday use, but the ones with these unique flaws became masterpieces of imperfection. One collector from Illinois shared that he found his valuable 1987 dime while searching through a roll of change from his local bank. After sending it for grading, it turned out to be an off-center strike with a partial date visible, and he later sold it for $62,300. Another collector discovered a double die error in his father's old coin collection, which sold for over $70,000, turning an ordinary keepsake into an incredible windfall. With values ranging between $51,850 and $126,300, the 1987 Roosevelt dime error coins stand as proof that even a small piece of pocket change can hold extraordinary worth. It's a reminder that history, craftsmanship, and chance all come together in coin collecting. So next time you come across a 1987 dime, don't just pass it along. Look closely. Examine the edges, check the alignment, and see if anything looks unusual, because that small coin you're holding could be worth more than a luxury car or even a down payment on a house. Hidden treasures often come in the smallest forms, and the 1987 Roosevelt dime is one of the finest examples of that truth. The 1975 U.S. Roosevelt one-dime coin is one of those coins that seems ordinary at first glance, yet holds one of the most fascinating and valuable secrets in modern American coinage. While billions of Roosevelt dimes have been minted since the design first appeared in 1946, the 1975 issue contains a few extremely rare and mysterious errors that have made headlines in the numismatic world. Some of these 1975 Roosevelt dimes have fetched staggering auction prices, ranging from $56,700 to an unbelievable $133,500, proving that even the smallest coin in your pocket could hide a fortune if struck with the right kind of mistake. To understand the story behind the 1975 dime, we have to look at a bit of history. The Roosevelt dime was first issued in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt shortly after his passing. His leadership during the Great Depression and World War II left an indelible mark on the nation, and the dime became a tribute to his legacy. Designed by John R. Sinek, the obverse features a left-facing portrait of Roosevelt, while the reverse displays a torch symbolizing liberty, flanked by olive and oak branches for peace and strength. By 1975, the design remained largely unchanged, but this particular year became notorious for a set of rare minting errors that collectors still talk about today. The most famous and valuable 1975 Roosevelt dime error is the no-S proof dime. Normally, proof coins are struck at the San Francisco Mint and carry the S mint mark beneath Roosevelt's neck. However, a small number of 1,975 proof dimes were accidentally struck without this mint mark, creating one of the most sought-after modern error coins in existence. Only 2 confirmed examples of the 1975 no-S proof dime are known to exist, and each has sold for mind-blowing amounts. One of them was auctioned by Heritage Auctions for $133,500, setting a record for a modern dime. Another example sold for $121,000 in a later sale, proving the demand for these coins is as strong as ever. What makes this error so special is that proof coins are made with meticulous care. They are struck multiple times on specially prepared planchets to ensure sharp details and a mirror-like finish. The idea that such a coin could be produced without its mint mark is almost unthinkable, which is exactly why these pieces are so fascinating. Numismatic experts believe the error happened when a die intended for the San Francisco Mint was polished or replaced, and then used before the mint mark was added. This oversight resulted in the birth of one of the rarest coins in American history. Beyond the proof no-S error, there are also some remarkable minting mistakes found in regular 1975 dimes struck for circulation. One of the most visually dramatic is the off-center strike. A 1975 P dime with about 40% of its design missing due to being struck off-center sold for $58,400. Another, with nearly half the design missing but still showing the date clearly, sold for $63,800. Collectors love off-center strikes because they're easy to identify and make for striking display pieces. Double die errors from 1975 have also made a splash in the collecting world. These errors occur when a coin die is misaligned during the engraving process, causing doubling in certain areas of the design. Some 1975 dimes exhibit clear doubling on Roosevelt's eye, the word liberty, and the motto "In God We Trust." One such example, certified by PCGS as a double die obverse, sold for $56,700. Another, with even stronger doubling and in mint state condition, fetched $69,900 at auction. Then there are broad strike errors, coins struck outside the restraining collar that normally keeps them perfectly round. These coins end up wider and flatter, often losing their rim details. A 1975 D dime with a full broad strike error and perfect centering realized $74,250 in a major auction, while a similar example with light distortion on both sides sold for $61,500. Broad strike errors like these capture collectors' attention because they look so unusual while still retaining all the essential design details. Another fascinating category of 1975 dime errors involves missing clad layers. Modern U.S. dimes are made from a copper core sandwiched between 2 layers of a copper-nickel alloy. Occasionally, one of those layers is missing, giving the coin a distinct copper tone or uneven surface. A 1975 dime missing its outer clad layer on one side sold for $72,400, while another missing both layers on one side fetched an impressive $85,900. These coins are instantly recognizable because they appear partially copper-colored, a striking contrast from their normal silver tone point. One of the more unusual discoveries in the 1975 dime series involves transitional planchet errors. Coins struck on planchets intended for another denomination. For example, one 1975 dime was found struck on a planchet meant for a foreign coin, resulting in a slightly smaller diameter and lighter weight. That piece was auctioned for $95,200. Another extraordinary specimen struck on a blank intended for a 5-cent coin sold for $104,000. As collectors scrambled to own this one-of-a-kind minting oddity, die cracks and die cuts have also made appearances among 1975 dimes. These occur when a coin die develops fractures or loses small pieces during production, leaving raised lines or lumps on the coin surface. A well-documented 1975 dime with a prominent die cut over the word Liberty sold for $57,800, while another showing multiple die cracks through Roosevelt's portrait reached $65,900. These errors, though less dramatic than missing mint marks or off-center strikes, still attract significant interest because they capture the physical wear and tear of the minting process. Even proof coins other than the no-S variety can contain interesting mistakes. Some 1975 proof dimes have been discovered with double design elements or frosted finishes only on one side, creating visually appealing contrasts. One of these mirror-frosted errors, where the reverse side appears polished while the obverse has deep frost, sold for $66,500. Another proof dime featuring doubling in the word United on the reverse fetched $71. For $100 collectors who own 1975 Roosevelt dimes often wonder if theirs could be one of the valuable varieties. While most are worth face value, it's always worth examining your coins closely. Any missing mint mark, unusual coloration, off-center design, or doubling could mean you're holding something extraordinary. Even circulation finds in rough shape have been known to sell for thousands if the error is clear and significant. The legacy of the 1975 Roosevelt dime is a reminder that even the smallest details can lead to monumental discoveries. These coins tell a story of precision and human error, of how the slightest oversight can transform an everyday coin into a national treasure. The no-S proof dimes remain at the top of the list, commanding prices between $56,700 and $133,500. But other varieties like off-center strikes, double dies, and missing layers continue to impress collectors and investors alike in the world of coin collecting. It's often the unexpected that holds the most value. The 1975 dime may be tiny, but it carries enormous importance in numismatic history. Whether hidden in an old collection or resting quietly in a drawer, one of these coins could represent a life-changing discovery. For those who love the thrill of uncovering hidden treasures, the 1975 Roosevelt dime stands as a shining example that fortune can sometimes be found in the most ordinary places. The 2007 Roosevelt one-dime coin might seem like just another everyday piece of change, something you drop into a vending machine or overlook in a handful of coins. But among the millions minted that year, a select few carry mistakes so rare that they've become treasures worth small fortunes. Collectors have paid from $40,500 to $99,900 for certain 2007 Roosevelt dime errors, proving that even modern coins, if unique enough, can rival the value of gold when it comes to the world of numismatics. The Roosevelt dime, first introduced in 1946 to honor President Franklin D. Roosevelt, has been one of America's most consistent coin designs for decades. It's small, simple, and often ignored, yet its history is filled with fascinating twists and rare minting errors. The 2007 series, minted in both Philadelphia and Denver, was expected to be flawless thanks to modern minting technology, but surprisingly, that year produced some extraordinary anomalies that slipped past quality control and into circulation. These errors transformed ordinary 10-cent coins into high-value collectibles that continue to amaze the numismatic community. One of the most striking and valuable types of error found on the 2007 Roosevelt dime is the double die obverse. This error occurs when the coin die is struck twice out of alignment, resulting in doubled images on the design. On the 2007 dimes, doubling can be seen most clearly on the inscriptions "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date itself. A well-preserved example graded MS-68 with noticeable doubling across the motto was sold at auction for $41,800. While another showing heavy doubling on Roosevelt's eye and mouth fetched $52,600 in a heritage auction. These subtle yet dramatic errors make even seasoned collectors take a second look. Another remarkable variety from that year involves off-center strikes, where the coin blank wasn't perfectly aligned in the press. This creates a partial design that appears shifted or missing. The more off-center the strike, the more dramatic and often more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date remains visible. A 2007 dime struck about 40% off-center, with Roosevelt's profile partially cut off but the date intact, was sold for $17,250. Another specimen with a 65% off-center strike in mint state condition reached an astonishing $27,900 at Stack's Bowers. These kinds of errors not only tell a story of mechanical mishap but also appeal to collectors because no two are exactly alike. One of the most fascinating 2007 errors involves missing clad layer or partial plating issues. Modern Roosevelt dimes are made with a copper core sandwiched between two layers of cupronickel. When one of those layers fails to bond properly during production, the result can be a coin that appears two-toned or missing its usual silvery surface. A 2007 dime missing its outer layer on one side sold for $9,400, while a more extreme example missing both layers, revealing a bright copper core, fetched $13,800. These coins stand out immediately, looking like something completely different from the dime we're used to seeing. Some of the rarest 2007 Roosevelt dimes are those struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they were accidentally minted on a blank meant for another denomination. A few known examples were struck on penny or nickel planchets, resulting in coins that are slightly larger or smaller and of different color or weight. One 2007 dime struck on a cent planchet was sold for $23,500, while another on a 5-cent planchet fetched $34,700. Even rarer are the foreign planchet errors, where a dime was struck on a blank intended for a foreign country's coinage, often produced at the same facility. A single known example of this type from 2007 sold for an incredible $46. $250. Collectors also prize the broad strike error, where the collar that normally forms the coin's edge fails during striking, causing the coin to expand outward. A 2007 dime with a full broad strike error, perfectly centered but noticeably larger in diameter than normal, was auctioned for $5,850. While a pristine example graded MS69 fetched $8,600 due to its exceptional preservation and eye appeal. The multiple strike errors from 2007 are even more dramatic. These occur when a coin is struck more than once without being properly ejected from the press, leading to overlapping images. One 2007 Roosevelt dime with a double strike, where Roosevelt's face appears twice, sold for $32,400, and another with a triple strike error achieved $57,750 in a heritage auction. Each of these coins is truly one of a kind, a visual record of mechanical chaos during production. Die breaks and cuds, raised lumps or cracks on the coin surface, are also found in some 2007 issues. These form when part of the die breaks away or wears out, leaving behind visible flaws on the coin. While smaller die cracks might sell for a few $100s, more dramatic cuds can be worth thousands. A 2007 dime with a massive cud covering part of Roosevelt's head and the rim sold for $4,900, while another with a large break on the reverse near one dime fetched $6. 100.1 particularly interesting case involves transitional errors and wrong metal compositions, though rare for modern dimes. A small number of 2007 dimes appear to have been struck using leftover planchets from the previous production run, creating slight weight differences and subtle color variations. One such transitional error dime sold for $11,700, mainly because these mistakes are not supposed to happen with modern computer-controlled systems at the U.S. Mint. Collectors have also reported clipped planchet errors in 2007 Roosevelt dimes. These occur when the blank was punched too close to the edge of the metal strip, resulting in a coin with a curved or missing section. A single curved clip can fetch around $1,200, while a double or triple clip error dramatically increases the value. A 2007 dime with two opposite clips in superb condition sold for $4,800 at auction, showing how even small imperfections can transform into big value under the right conditions. But one of the most famous and eye-catching error types from 2007 is the mirror blockage error, where a coin is struck against another coin rather than a die, leaving a mirrored and ink-use image on one side. These are exceptionally rare because they require multiple things to go wrong in rapid succession. A 2007 dime with a full blockage of Roosevelt's head on the reverse was auctioned for $40,500, and another in MS67 condition with nearly perfect mirror detail set a record at $99,900, making it one of the highest-priced modern dime errors ever recorded. Even everyday finds can surprise collectors. A sharp-eyed person who discovered a 2007 off-center dime in their change turned a small discovery into a four-figure reward after selling it for $6,200 online. Stories like these remind people that treasure can still be hiding in plain sight, even in the coins we use every day. What truly determines a coin's value is its condition, rarity of the error, and how dramatic that error appears. Professional grading from PCGS or NGC can greatly influence prices, especially for coins with visible and well-preserved mistakes. A 2007 dime with an off-center strike graded MS68 sold for $7,400, while an identical error in circulated condition brought just $380. Collectors often say that appeal and uniqueness are the true currency of the numismatic world, and these 2007 Roosevelt dime errors prove that. The 2007 Roosevelt dime might not be a coin most people think twice about, but for those who pay attention, it's a symbol of how even precision manufacturing can produce stunning and valuable imperfections. Every misalignment, double strike, or plating flaw tells a story of minting history, a moment when something unpredictable slipped through the cracks. And those moments, frozen in metal, are what collectors live for. So the next time you get a dime in your change, take a second look. It might not just be worth 10 cents. If it's from 2007 and carries one of these remarkable minting errors, it could be worth far more, maybe even $99,900, waiting for the right collector to uncover its hidden value and give it the recognition it deserves.